Greetings. So, one thing I like to do for fun, I have a mild interest in genealogies and stuff like that, is I like to go to the Wikipedia page of a famous person and then see who their father is. If there's a Wikipedia page for their father, then you go check if that person has a Wikipedia page for their father, and so on down the line. If there's someone really famous, like the King of England, the Queen of England, or the current King of Spain, you can wind up following the line of Wikipedia pages for each respective father back centuries, back more than a millennium in some cases. And today I was messing around and I was doing it for this figure known as Menachem Mendel Schneerson, right? Who's the seventh, quote unquote, Rebbe, the seventh leader of a very prominent Hasidic Jewish, Orthodox Jewish sect in New York. Anyone who's lived in New York for a long time has sort of seen their footprint, known as Lubavitchers or Chabad-Lubavitch, right? So you often hear them referred to the Rebbe, and many of the people within that Lubavitcher Hasidic sect, they believe he's the Messiah, and I have a video relevant to that from the past. But whatever the case, I started messing around with a Wikipedia page for him, and English Wikipedia doesn't have much about his family, and even Hebrew Wikipedia doesn't have much for his family, but I found quite a bit on a website it's like a form of Wikipedia put out by the Lubavitcher sect, by the Chabad sect, and it's called Chabadpedia. And I'll show that in a second. So I have here on the screen a little family tree that I'm going to develop. It's not going to go back, millennia. At most, it'll go back, I don't know, a century and a half or something like that, right? But nonetheless, as we build this family tree backwards, you have the little key up in the top right. If you see a blue line, that means one person descends from the other. A blue line means one person is the parent of the other or the child of the other, in that relationship. And then if you see a red line, that means the two people are married. So blue line, parent-child relationship, red line, spouses, right? Okay, so with that, here's the Chabadpedia. He says it at the top, Chabadpedia, and I'll post, and yes, it's all in Hebrew, but I'll try to make it accessible. I'm just going to click the links and stuff like that. I was having fun with this, and we're going to build a family tree based on that. I thought it was mildly interesting. I hope others find this interesting. This is going to be a lighthearted video, but so this is the Chabadpedia page, and I'll share a link in the video description for Rabbi, it says here at the top, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, as I said before. It should say it here. Let's see. So, as it says here, so you see Admor in blue. Admor is an acronym for Adonenu Moreno Verabenu. It means something like our Lord, teacher, and rabbi, or teacher and master, I don't know, whatever you want to put. It says Ha'admor Hashvi'i, that means the seventh Admor. I'm just going to say Admor, or Rebbe is how they say it in Yiddish to mean leader. So this is the seventh and final leader of the Chabad Hasidic sect. Again, if you lived in New York, you've probably seen his face on minivans and RVs or something like that, for his fervent followers. And we're just going to go ahead and look into his family tree and form a family tree based on that. So scrolling down, here's some information about his birth, and let's see, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm doing this in real, oh, no, this isn't it. Here we go, Toledot, which means, his generations. Oh, okay. There's a picture of him as a child, and it says he was born, oh, by the way, the reason why I'm doing it on this day, notice it says he was born on the 11th of Nisan, which is today's date on the rabbinic calendar, so it's his birthday. I saw some Hasidic Jews making a big deal about that, so, it seemed an auspicious time to play around and look into his lineage. So it goes on to say here that his father was a man named Levi Yitshaq, right? So let's go to the page of Levi Yitshaq. And so this is the father of the seventh leader, the seventh Admor, the seventh Rebbe of the Lubavitcher sect. So I'm just going to add that to our little family tree here, little blue line, establishing that, Menachem Mendel Schneerson was the son of a man named Levi Yitzchak Schneerson, who was not a leader in the organization. And now, returning to the Chabadpedia page for Levi Yitzchak Schneerson, we'll start going through his information. Refresh this. Here we go. So it says, here's the information on him. And okay, here we go. Here's the information. His biography says he was born on the 18th of Nisan, and it says that he was born in so-called White Russia, and his father, right here, here's his father's name, Barukh Schneerson, right? So we're going to click that, and here we get the Chabadpedia page for his father, the grandfather of the 7th Rebbe of the Lubavitcher sect, and we're just going to add that to our little family tree. So little blue line going from Levi Yitshaq Schneerson to Barukh Zalman Schneerson. It will go back to the Chabadpedia page, and you see it's Barukh Zalman Schneerson. And now we'll go into his biography. And when we go into here, it turns out that, as it says here, his father had the same name as his son, so it's Levi Yitzchak Schneerson. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And here we go. Levi Yitzchak Schneerson, right? Now let's add that to our little family tree, blue line. Barukh Zalman Schneerson was the son of Levi Yitzchak Schneerson, right? I'm not bothering looking up the years or anything like that. So here's him. Now we're going to go into his info. Oh, they have a little family tree here, which is quite interesting. But let me see. They should have some information on his father. Forgive me. Let's see. And here we go. And it says here, it's actually, they give his father and his father's father in a sense, because it says that he was the son of Baruch Shalom, who himself was the son of Admor Tsedeq, or Tsedeq, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And here's his father, right? So we're going to just put in another little blue line in our family tree. Levi Yitzchak Schneerson, the great-grandfather of the 7th leader of the Chabad Hasidic sect, the Lubavitcher Hasidic sect. His father was named Baruch Shalom Schneerson, right? And then notice it says Ben Admor Tsemach Tsedeq, right? So that's significant. Let's see if we can find this here. So he's the son of, says right here, right? He's the son of a person who has this title, Tsemach Tsedeq, which means like the righteous branch, and you know, some messianic pretensions there, or illusions, messianic illusions there. So here's this page. So this is his father. So his name is also Menachem Mendel Schneerson. And when you go down here, it should note here in a moment. Here we go. Tzemach Tsedeq. Let's see. Hashlishi, right? So he says Hashlishi. He's the so-called the 7th prince, the 7th leader of the Admorei of Chabad. He's the 3rd. Forgive me for saying 7th. He's the 3rd leader. So we're going to add that information in, that this man here, throw that into our little family tree. The father of Baruch Shalom Schneerson was the 3rd Rebbe, the 3rd leader of the Chabad sect, who himself had the same name as the 7th leader, the 7th Rebbe. His name is Menachem Mendel Schneerson, but he had the title the Tzemach Tsedeq, which means like the righteous branch or something like that, right? Okay, so now let's find his parents. Let's see. This, just because of it's relevant to the tree, I'm going to try and skip over his father and look instead to his mother. So here we go into his little biography. It says here his father, there's his father, and then his mother, you see it says Harabanit, and her name is Devorah Leah, right? Devorah Leah. So this is the mother. Now, it's going to make sense in a second why I'm doing this, because his father, I want to try and line it up into the line of all the leaders of this sect. So his mother was Devorah Leah, so I'm going to click on that. Here she is, right? So we're going to add that to our little family tree. The 3rd leader of the group, the 3rd Rebbe, was the son of Devorah Leah, and so, I know that's not paternal, but whatever. It's going to work for this matter, right? So, okay, so now let's look into her biography, her little, genealogy. And it says that she was the daughter of, her father was Rabbi Shneur Zalman Admor Hazakin, right? The elder Admor, the elder leader, known in Yiddish as the Alter Rebbe, the very first leader of the sect. So we'll click on that. And we'll go to his little Chabadpedia page. Here he is. and that's the the first leader of the sect. So we'll add that to our little tree, Dovber. She was the daughter of the Alter Rebbe, the first leader of the sect, Shneuri Zalman. Oh, and by the way, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, apparently, I read somewhere, we didn't show it on this page, but apparently his father's name was something like Altschula or something like that, but he took on Schneersohn, because he was the son of, grandson technically, but to signify he was a descendant of Shneuri Zalman, apparently. All right, so there we go. We have this branch of the tree, but now I'd like to go back to the 7th Rebbe. So let's scroll back to the 7th Rebbe. Here we go. Forgive me. Here we go. And there we go. Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the 7th Rebbe, right, in our little tree. And let's see if I can find his wife, mention of his wife. It's going to be right here. Forgive the delay. Okay, here we go. So, it says that on the 6th of Kislev, anyway, his wife is a woman named Chaya Mushqa Schneerson. Interesting. She hasn't the same last name as him, not because she married him, but of course, marrying him, she takes on that name, but she had the name before she married him. So he married a woman with the same name. We're going to pull up her page. So here she is, Chaya Mushqa Schneerson, and we're going to put that in our little tree, a little red line signifying that the 7th leader was married to a woman named Chaya Mushqa Schneerson. So now let's try to run through this quickly. It says right here, Bato, she's the daughter of Admor Harayatz, right? So we're going to click on this. This is her father. It's still loading. Bear with me here. That's her father, right? And his name is Yosef Yitshaq Schneerson. So, wait a minute. Let me get a little information on him. Should say here that he's the 6th leader. Let's see. I'm just reading through this really quickly. Yeah, here it is. Hu Admor Hashishi, right? And so he's the 6th leader. So we're going to add that into our little tree. So the father of Chaya Mushqa Schneerson, which was the wife of the 7th leader of the group, was the 6th leader of the group, Yosef Yitshaq Schneerson. Now let's go into his, biography, his lineage, etc. And it says here that he was the son, his father. It says here that his father was named, was known as Admor Harashab. So we're going to click on that. And there's his name, Shalom Dovber Schneerson. And let's see, it should have some information about him being the leader. And let me see, forgive the delay. Here we go. It says here, Hu Admor Hamishi. He is the 5th leader. So adding that to our little tree, the 6th Rebbe, who was the father of the wife of the 7th Rebbe, his own father, the father of the 6th Rebbe, was the 5th Rebbe, the 5th leader. So the 6th Rebbe was named Yosef Yitshaq Schneerson, and the 5th Rebbe, his father, was named Shalom Dovber Schneerson. Right, that's this gentleman here. Now let's find his father. Right, so let's see. We go to his little biographical information. I hope you're having fun. I hope this isn't too boring for you. Here's his father, Rabbi Shmuel, Samuel. Right, and it says here, Rabbi Shmuel Schneerson, Admor Maharash. And let's get some information on him really quickly. Okay, here we go. It should say that. Here we go. He's the Admor Harabi'i, the 4th leader of the group, 4th Rebbe. So let's add that to our little tree. Shmuel Schneerson, the 4th Rebbe, was the father of the 5th Rebbe. And now let's go into his parentage. Let's see. Excuse me. There we go. And it says that his father was the Tsemach Tsedeq. Right, so I'm going to go ahead, who we mentioned before, that's the 3rd leader. And at this point, we should also look up the mother of the 4th leader, right? Find his wife here. And it says here that the wife of the 3rd leader, who's the mother of the 4th leader, her name was also Chaya Mushqa Schneerson. So get that. All right, this is a different Chaya Mushqa Schneerson. This is it says Ishat Admor Tsedeq, so she's the wife of the 3rd Rebbe, right? And I'm going to look up her father in a second. But just let's add that to our little tree. We're going to slightly adjust this. Say that the third Rebbe was married to a woman named Chaya Mushqa, and they were the parents of both the fourth Rebbe named Shmuel Schneerson, as well as Barukh Shalom Schneerson, who was not a leader in the group, but he was the great-great-grandfather of the seventh leader, right? That's starting to take care. But anyway, back to Chaya Mushqa, the mother of the fourth leader and the wife of the third leader. Now let's go into her information, and we should have it. Here it is. So it says Abia, her father, Admor. All right, here we go. Here we go. So his name is Dovber Schneuri, right? Dovber Schneuri. And so let's add that to our little tree, blue line, going from Chaya Mushqa up to this. Oh, I forgot to mention, he's the second leader. And so the second leader was the father of Chaya Mushqa, the wife of the third leader, right? Interesting enough. And finally, we're just going to get his parentage of the second leader. But it says, right, his father, you see, Admor Hazaken, the elder leader, or, you know, as they say in Yiddish, the Alter Rebbe, who we showed before, this guy. So let's add that to our tree, and then we're pretty much done. So the second Rebbe was the son of the first Rebbe, the first leader. Okay, and that's it. I wanted to show this tree because it's interesting. I specifically want to look at the third leader and the seventh leader, the third Rebbe and the seventh Rebbe. They're both in bold on the right. Notice that both of them did not descend from a previous leader. Like you notice the sixth leader was the son of the fifth leader. The fifth leader was the son of the fourth leader. The second leader was the son of the first leader, right? Most of these leaders in the group are sons of previous leaders. But, interestingly enough, the seventh leader was not the son of the previous leader, but he did marry the daughter of the previous leader. And so, too, the third leader was not the son of the previous leader, but he did marry the daughter of the previous leader. And also notice that the seventh leader and the third leader have the exact same name, Menachem Mendel Schneerson. And notice that they both had wives with the same name, Chaya Mushqa Schneerson. I don't know. That's interesting. That made it worth making this video. I hope you found this interesting. It's also interesting that the third Rebbe married his first cousin. Apparently, there's a lot of, I guess, intermarriage in these Orthodox Jewish families. But whatever the case, that's all. I'll stop here. I hope you found it interesting. I found it interesting. Hope you found it mildly interesting. I just wanted to do this video really quickly, and I did it sort of, you know, on the fly. I sort of freestyled it a little bit, and that's why it's, you know, raw and, I guess, sloppy. But whatever the case, I look forward to the comments of others. And I promise my forthcoming videos will be more interesting. I'm going to get back to language issues, Hebrew, and then Ge'ez, and stuff like that. But I just want to do this for fun in light of the date, because I saw some Hasidic Jews talking about how today is the 11th of Nisan, or as they call it, Yud Aleph Nisan, the birthday of the seventh leader, who many of them consider the Messiah, even if they don't admit it publicly. So on that note, look forward to the comments of others. As always, God bless.